YouTube, it's Louise the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. And welcome back. If you're coming back or if you're a new viewer, hello. This is the second gathering of the Tuesday Knit Group. Lovely to see you. I'm so glad you're here. This is lovely. I've just lit us a candle. Just so that I'd remember to tell you this now. I can see it, you see, in the on the screen. I've just lit a little candle here, and I've chosen pink, and I dedicated it to everybody that was going to come and watch this video today for love and friendship, because everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome here, and I thought, well, I know what I'll do. I nearly always have a candle while I'm in the room. Not while I'm out of the room, but while I'm in the room, I always light a candle and have it next to me. And I quite often choose the colour so that I can call forth different things. That's my intention when I light the candle. And my intention with this candle was to bring love and friendship. You know, not the sweaty kind of love, kind of, you know, love between friends. The love between everyone, really. So yes. Hello, so welcome. Bring your knitting or your crochet, or your drawing, or your sewing, or you're lolling around on the sofa, tidying up, whatever it is. Everybody's welcome in the Tuesday Knit Group. You don't have to be a knitter in any way, shape or form. Whether you're a new knitter or an experienced knitter, everybody's welcome at this knit group. The kettle has just boiled. I have got myself a cup of tea here. Can you see it's got the steam coming up? So it is quite hot. Oh. It's not quite at perfect temperature, but it will be soon. Must keep an eye on that so it doesn't go cold. So yes, there's tea, coffee, cold drinks. I even bought some green tea. Green tea with pomegranate, because that's one of my friend's favourites. I won't be drinking it. Help yourself. Drink away on the old green tea. So yes, and I also opened a bottle of wine. Should you care to relax and you don't have to drive. And then grab yourself a glass. There's also quite an array of cakes and biscuits brought by most people. My word, we've got a good selection out there. I think we're going to have to start a rota as to who brings cakes and who brings biscuits. Otherwise, and you're going to have to take them when you go, otherwise I'm just going to sit and eat them. Sam brought lemon drizzle, which is, I have to say, one of my faves. So I will be having a slice of that later. Thank you very much, Sam. I was very pleased to see you bringing that in. Oh, yes. Grab yourself a seat wherever you can. You might need to move the cat. In fact, you will need to move the cat. In fact, it would be a good idea if we move the cat, because the cat's eaten something that's not agreed with her. I've had to air the room several times already. One of the reasons why I lit a candle, actually. Scent the room. So, yes, might be a good idea to move the cat. Otherwise, we'll be sat in the garden. We'll be sat in the garden. She'll be sat here, gently passing wind. So yes, we could do with moving her. I always thought it was dogs that had those issues, but no, cats do it too. A change of brand can upset the digestive system somewhat. There we go. So yeah, how lovely has it been? Gosh, has it been a week already? Phenomenal. It's been really lovely seeing everybody join in and come along and say that they're going to come back this week. So that was lovely. So yeah, spread the word. If you want people to come along as well, that would be gorgeous. The more the merrier coming to Tuesday Knit Group. We've got plenty of room. You might be looking at this lounge thinking, I'm not sure we'll all fit in, but we will. We will all fit in if we budge up a little bit. And it gets the conversations going. So I am knitting. This time on a sock. So this is a vanilla sock pattern. Vanilla meaning plain. So if people talk about a vanilla sock pattern, it is a basic sock pattern that gives you the same basic sock construction with no fanciness or frills or pattern like that. So I've done a 2x2 rib, which means 2 knit, 2 purl, to give a nice stretchy cuff. And then it's gone into stockingette, and I'm doing it on my DPNs. DPN meaning double pointed needles. So if you have straight needles, normally you'll have something, a block at one end so the stitches don't fall off. But with DPNs, You don't. You have a point at each end, which means you can create a tube. So you can do that. So that's why people use DPNs. They look complicated, and it always makes me, when people haven't knit socks before, and when I first saw somebody knit sock, I thought, what is that magic they are doing? But the sticks are basically holding the stitches, and you are still knitting just one stitch at a time, and it's just a knit stitch. So it's actually easier than doing something like cables. It's actually an easier way of doing it. It just takes a bit of practice to learn how you hold the DPNs, basically, how it rests in your fingers, because you need to rest them. And that just takes a bit of practice to get used to holding them. And then once you've got it, you automatically put them in the same place each time, and it just feels comfortable. So that's knitting in the round. This is how you would, with straight needles, knit in the round. So yeah, so I'm using my DPNs, and this is actually a second sock. I finished the first sock a couple of weeks ago, actually. So there it is, a finished sock. It's a lady's sock, so it's an average size. I do for size, in English terms, 5 to 6. I've got larger feet than that, but that's what I do. I put a little bit of black on the cuff as a bit of cuff definition, and to really show the green. I suddenly thought it made the green pop, just having something to kind of border it. It just makes it pop. Now, I first saw this on Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. That's what I saw her doing it, and I can't remember, she saw somebody else do it. I want to say Sandra Cherryheart, but it might not be. Ali will have to tell us. So yeah, so you just put a little bit of something that just kind of brings the colour out and makes it a bit more interesting. So it is rib, stretchy rib, stockinette or knit, and knitting in the round means you don't have to do the knit and then the purl to create this stitch pattern. Then I do what's called a heel gusset, which means I turn a corner. So you do a heel flap, and then you do the gusset, and that's where you pick up stitches over the top of the foot. So there are various different types of heels. So some people do an afterthought heel. When I first started watching podcasts, everybody was talking about the fish lips kiss heel. I was like, what? Fish lips kiss. And I don't know why, I still don't know why it's called the fish lips kiss. Presumably because the way it finishes, it looks like fish lips puckered in the form of a kiss. Right? I have no, it's like, where, what? I was like that. Everybody was talking about this fish lips kiss heel. I was like, what the? But it's a type of heel that you put in. But the tradition, I think the traditional form is the heel flap and gusset. It's a nice sturdy heel, and it's the one that I always do. Afterthought means that you just knit a tube and then you cut the stitch and put in the heel. But you could do fancy heels that way. I don't bother with that, just do a simple one. And then I knit down, decrease for the toe, and then I Kitchener it, which gives you a nice top with no seams across the top of the toe. So I don't know who these are for. I think I know who these are for. I think I know who I'm going to give these to. But I do tend to just make ladies' socks, and then I've got a little stack, and I have given all mine socks away actually at Christmas, so I need to give myself the year to create a little stack of socks, and then I can give them away as Christmas presents, and just generally as presents actually, because it's nice because somebody's thought about your feet. So yeah, so there we go. So that's my sock. So I'm on my second one. That's the yarn. and it's by Hey J, who is Hannah. And it's 4-ply high twist sock yarn, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So quite often with sock yarns they have some stabilising, reinforcing yarn in there, something to reinforce it, to give it a bit more wear, a bit more sturdiness. So quite often with sock yarn you will find that they will have some form of merino, some form of nylon in them. I've got some upstairs which is by Perrin Yarns, and that's got Tencel, which is wood pulp. I think it's something that comes out of the processing of wood pulp, and you can use it as a strengthener, but it's more it's kind of greener than more environmentally friendly than nylon. It's a natural product, even though I think it is a byproduct of a process, but it's wood pulp and it's Tencel. It's called Tencel, Tencel, and I've made the husband a couple of pairs of socks using merino and Tencel, and they're really lovely. They've got a really nice feel to them. It's almost silky. It almost feels like they're silky, and they're his favourite socks. He says they're the nicest, and they're not hot socks. They keep his feet warm, but his feet don't overheat, which nobody wants overheating feet. Nobody at all. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently working on at the moment. I cast these on in the car on Sunday because we went on a little jaunt. We went to just outside Bury St Edmunds. So yes, I went with the husband and Benedict. Benedict is my 10-year-old son, who is marvellous and lovely, and the husband is my 49-year-old husband, who is also marvellous and lovely. Gosh, he worked out the other day, we were kind of chatting about it, and he went, "Oh, is it 22 or 23 years this year?" I was like, "No, it's 22 years. We've been married 22 years this year." I know. It was like, crikey, that's crept up on us a bit. Doesn't feel like, I used to look at people when they used to say, been married 25 years, silver wedding anniversary, been married 25 years. And I used to look at them and think, God, what could that be like? What would that be like to have actually, lived with somebody you've chosen, not only live with them, but you've chosen to live with them for like 25 years. I mean, you mustn't have anything left to say. And it doesn't feel like it. I look at him and go, God, it feels like 25 minutes half the time. Still have no idea what's going through your head. And he would probably say the same about me. But no, I was like, gosh. So anyway, that's exciting. We won't be doing anything exciting for it, I'm sure. Well, maybe we will. Maybe I'm casting aspersions, but we've got a couple of months yet before it's our 22nd. So yes, what else have I got to show you? Let's do a bit of show and tell at the beginning. I finished something. I started and finished something in 1 week. I know, speedy. I am not a super speedy knitter. I'm not somebody that's going to knit a sweater in a month or knit a sweater in a week. I'm just not going to. One of the things is it's not my thing. Some people like that kind of challenge yourself. And I will get all enthusiastic to begin with, and I will lose. I will run out of steam. So I do not kind of work in that way. So I know some people do, and they like to challenge themselves. I don't. But I suddenly thought I needed this. I needed something. I needed it. Not wanted it, needed it. So let me show you. Put that down. Let's put that in there. I made myself some... What am I doing? Oh yes, just slipping them on. Have I got them on the right way? Yes, you're now wondering, have I made underwear? No. I made myself some fingerless, I'm going to call them gauntlets. Look at that. Oh, that's better. I know. So we have had cold weather here. So it's definitely colder. You wouldn't believe it because I sat in a t-shirt. But I've had the heating on all morning. It's got a bit warm in here. And then with all of you coming in here, whew, got a bit hot. Excuse me while I got my tea. I have switched the heating off. Yes, I have. So I wanted some. I've got gloves. I haven't made them. It's almost like you should make gloves or something if you're mittens or the colourwork mitten bandwagon. No, I haven't yet gone down that road. I did make some cuffs actually, which were lovely. I made those last year before. And I can't remember, I don't know where they are, but yeah, so I needed something for when I get in the car, and I can't drive in gloves, but it's really cold to begin with, and so I thought, I know, I'll make myself some fingerless gloves. I will do the sleeves longer, because I don't like cold wrists. If you watch Friday Reads, you know I don't like cold wrists, because I like to have a coat that comes down here. But yeah, so I knit a bit further down. I started there. It's just a pattern I kind of made up. It's not a complicated thing at all in any way, shape or form. Looking at this, you're going, no, you're not kidding. It is literally rib. So yeah, so this is what I did. So this is what it looks like. It looks beautiful. Look at that. Now that's something to be proud of, isn't it? But they're really nice. I showed them to the husband and he went, oh, lovely. I went, no, but they're very practical, and they are very practical. So yes, these are little fingerless mitts. So I did them on DPNs, little DPNs. I did 40 stitches, and I did 2x2 rib. So I did 2 knit, 2 purl, and I did it in the round like you do with a sock. And then I got down to where I wanted my thumb. I got this, yeah. Well, I got to there, and then instead of going round, I just did backwards and forwards for that bit, the thumb bit. So it created a hole. So it was tube, and then it created a hole. So I just did backwards and forwards. Then I just joined again and did them in the round. And then on the palm, you can't really see. Can a little bit. I decreased my stitches a little bit here by either knitting together or purling together for 4 stitches. Just because with your hand, it's wider and then it goes narrow. It gets narrow again. So I just wanted to bring it in. And then I did about the bind off I just did the normal bind off because I wanted it to be a little bit tighter. Just wanted it to pull in towards. I was going to do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, but I thought, which I have done on a pattern, and that is lovely. It's a lovely bind off to do, but I actually thought I don't want it to flare out, do I? I actually want it to go around my fingers, grip around my fingers, and they do perfectly. Having the decrease on the palm, so I did the decrease on the palm on both ones, and it makes it easier because now I know which is my left and which is my right, because I just try and spot the decreases, which are actually quite obvious. You can see it kind of narrows, and that's on the palm of each one, and there we go. So yes, I've been using them all week. I've been super pleased with them. They're a bit warm for wearing in the house, but yeah, been really pleased with them. My little fingerless mitt. It's this wool, which is it's called jewel because of the jewel tones. So it's got red and purple and kind of teal jewel tones, and this is fingering weight, and it's merino, hand dyed from Cornwall, by I don't know the lady that does it, but the band was by Madder About Wool. So I think there may be some natural dyes in there. I don't know if it is. It can't be. Looking at the colours, it must be acid dyes, mustn't it? But yeah, so that's it. It's Madder About Yarn in Cornwall. I picked them up from Truro Wool when I was in Truro last summer, and I held it double. So this is a fingering weight yarn. They're very thin. So I held it double. I had I wound off 2 balls, and I held it double to create DK weight or double knitting. So double knitting, DK weight, and so it's 2 strands of fingering weight in each stitch, just to make it a bit thicker, because I thought fingering will be too thin. So I wanted a DK one. So yes, that was it. So I held it double, and it worked perfectly with such a simple pattern: knitting 2, purling 2, knitting 2, purling 2. I mean, they just whip up so quickly, and they've been really useful. And they're it's a small enough thing I can pop in my handbag, and it's always there. So I'm really pleased with myself. It used about 24 grams. So I had a 100-gram ball, 100-gram skein. And I wound it all up, and it used about 22-23 grams per that. So I've got just over 50 grams left. So I don't know what I'm going to use that for. Again, more stuff. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I will be using it. So yes, there we are. That was my make of the week. Very pleased to use them again this morning, because I had to go this morning. I went back to school. I woke up this morning and went, ooh, gotta go to school. Oh, lordy. Gotta go to school. Benedict, his school does a come and learn morning. And it's only 45 minutes. And you basically go into your whoever's class, Miss Simon's class, and you do kind of what the children are doing with them. So you do it with your child. Don't just bowl up and go with any old child. It is your beloved offspring that you go and sit with. And because they always do maths first thing in the morning, they normally do maths, and so I thought, oh my god, I've got maths this morning. Now, actually, I like maths, so that's okay. But I was thinking, what if they're doing something really complicated and I can't do it? 10-year-olds are doing something complicated. I had a bit of maths anxiety, but we weren't. We were doing research on Second World War stuff, which was fine. We were doing the Land Army, which was the women in the Second World War who were asked to join. They were the land girls, and they worked because the farmers, the men were being called up to go and serve abroad. So, but of course they still needed all the land worked. We needed all the farming done. So it was called the Land Army, and women were sent off to go and work the land in various places, and they had quite a strict uniform which they had to wear, and they stayed in hostels, or sometimes they actually stayed on the farms, and it was kind of like this movement, the Land Girls. So he was learning about that this morning, which was quite good actually, because it meant I could do a bit of a feminist chat about equality. And he was saying they didn't get paid the same as men, and I said, now why do you think that is? And he was like, I don't know, I think they should. Like, yes, that's right, don't you forget it, matey. So yes, we had a bit of good old feminist chat between us. We were both agreeing with each other, but no, it was really nice. I sat and we did some research on the jobs that women did in the Second World War, and looked at that kind of stuff. So it was all perfectly pleasant. But I did wear my my fingerless mitts when I was going there. Very exciting it was too. So what else? Oh, I know what I was going to share. Secret. No, it wasn't. I could share a secret. I'll think of a secret. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. I was talking about this last week. This is something in my plans. Oh god, that really does affect the light, doesn't it? Never mind. Here we are. And it's Tina C Knits, and it's the Home Sweet Home Knit Formula by Tina C. I'm pronouncing it C. I don't know if it is pronounced like that. and it's to construct this, which I gather she calls it a kimono, and she can call it kimono because it's her design. But I gather it's not actually a kimono. It's not what we should call as a kimono, but it's what she calls it, so I'm going to just call it that. So what you could do is you don't knit it in one. You start in one bit. This is just an example. Can you see? You work in different ways. You go one, so where's number one? So you go 1, 2, oh, this is hard, 3, 4, 5. So you do it in different ways. You do it in blocks, and you kind of almost like patchwork. Create yourself, and you join together as you go along, and you can then do a seamless garment. And she's got all descriptions. Here we are, it's lovely. Oh, wrong side. Can you see? I think that looks really fab. I really like the idea of it. And you can do yourself like a pullover or a sleeveless top or sleeveless pullover or a cowl or anything. And she shows you how to create. You kind of make up your own pattern. I mean, I'm not confident enough just to go bowl straight in. So she does give you the descriptions on how to do a cowl. And then either you can carry that on into another outfit, or you can just make yourself a cowl and then start again. So I think I might do that. But it's a way of using up different wools. So I think will go into that, because I can stripe that, you see. The colours that she did, it's all different colours, isn't it? Burgundy and pinks and blues. She definitely chose a palette and worked from it, and that's what I'm going to do. I think blacks and whites and jewel tones, I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, so I mentioned that last week, and I just wanted to show you that. And also, I wanted to have it out, and the husband printed it off. I wanted to have it out because my chum's coming tomorrow. So, you know, last week I said my friend was going to come, and I was really looking forward to it. She wasn't able to come. So I was a bit like, But then I was like, hooray, got a date. So it did mean that I got other things done, knitting that stuff. But it meant that she's coming tomorrow instead. So I do get her to come tomorrow. Hurrah! And her daughter, who is 18 and studying for her A-levels, she suggested that we should do a yarn swap. I think her mum might have been saying she's got some yarn she doesn't like, and she said, why don't you do a yarn swap? And that's so exciting. It's like the idea of getting presents. I was like, wow. So I'm going to have a look through my yarn stuff that I've got upstairs. I shall have a look later and see what's not bringing me joy, as Marie would say, Marie Kondo. Who else has watched it or has read the book? Her book is Marie Kondo, and her book is The Magic Art of Tidying Up. And I never read it, although I do love a tidy. I never read it. I don't know why I didn't read it, but I didn't. I wondered if it was gimmicky. That's my thing. Anyway, then it came on Netflix, and I was like, all right then. And I'll admit, I got completely hooked into it. And I think it's because she herself, Marie Kondo, I thought she was lovely. I really did. And I thought it was interesting that she isn't. She's encouraging a more... I thought she was saying you should live a minimalist lifestyle, and I don't think she is. I think she's saying, look at what you've got around you, and have you got too much around you? Are you just keeping stuff for the sake of keeping it? And I completely go with that, completely. So it made me look at stuff even more. I am somebody that regularly clears out, so it did make me look at my stuff. So, and what's bringing me joy and what I'm just keeping for the sake of keeping it. So I'm going to go through my yarn. I actually did it last year, and I got rid of a big bag of yarn to two friends. They took quite a lot. They took it all from me, which was brilliant. So I shall have a look and see if there's anything else that I've got that's crept in that I'm not sure about. Not sure about. So yeah, so I have a look at that. So how cool's that? I'm really pleased with that. So that she's coming tomorrow. So I've got that to look forward to. Lovely. We'll have some of your cake left. Some lemon drizzle left. So yes. What about what I was working on last week? If you are watching this and you are working on something and you care to share, I am on Instagram as louise.stinson, Stinson. I shall leave my Instagram details in the description box of this. And it would be lovely if you are knitting on something or working on something. It doesn't have to be knitting or crochet, it can be anything at all, even lolling about on the sofa, always encouraged. I'd love to see what you're doing, and if you could, I'm going to do a hashtag Tuesday knit group. Hopefully there won't be one up already, and I will post when these videos go live, and also I will post what I've been working on at Tuesday knit group. So I shall post a picture of this, and that way we can see what everybody's working on, which would be lovely. So last week, how long have I been going on? God, time flies when you're chatting with friends. It really does. I'm in the middle of a row. Never mind. This is what I was working on last week. I was working on the back, and still am working on the back. I've knit that much. It's gone a bit stripy. Looking at that, it's looking as though it's gone a bit stripy. In real life, if it went, as you will know, as you're sat here, it doesn't look quite as stripy as that. It's a bit stripy. But yes, this is the back. And I'm about, I don't know, 6, maybe 8 rows off the top. And then it will be joining the two together, and then it's ribbing around here and ribbing around the arms. So I'm hoping for next Tuesday I will be sat here wearing it. Oh yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan, Stan. We haven't got masses planned for the weekend, so I'm sure I can. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's that. That's what I'm doing on that, and that is a sleeveless pullover or tank top. It's a tank top by the yarn is by Amy from Stranded Dye Works. That was very badly shown. Let's try that again, shall we? It's her Paradise base, and it's Pigeon Fancier. I love the colours. Love pigeons as well. Very fond of pigeons. Some people see them as pests. I don't. I just like pigeons. So yeah, so that's in that bag. That's kind of my evening knit when I sit there. This is very much my car knit, or on the go, or if I'm somewhere and I'm talking to somebody, like if we go out, like so we might go to a restaurant or something like that. This is socks. I tend to get to a point where I can take them, so this is good. So when my friend comes tomorrow, I'll probably be sat doing this, working on socks. You can't go wrong with the sock. Can't go wrong, or it's easy to pick up if you can't. Right, let's put that to one side. And put you in there, ready to grab at a moment's notice. Let's look. If you want to grab yourself another drink, and I will talk. And I will have a look at the comments that you left. If you would like to take part in this, video, please leave a comment down below. And at about halfway through, which is about now, I have a look so that we can talk together. So it isn't just me talking to you, it's you talking to me, as in a knit group. So here we go. I have changed it so that it's the comments that came first are at the bottom, and I will work my way up. I'm not sure I'll be able to get to everybody's comments, but I'll have a good go. Right, Joan Perkins, Joen, Joan? Is that still Joan? Perkins, hello, you were the first comment. First one here. She was the first one here. First one sat on that sofa. She was. Hey, so sorry. So happy to see you. I do go to a knit group in town, but I have to get out of my PJs. Not now. Not this one. Lovely. So that's lovely to see you, Joan. Thank you very much. You were my first person. Jay Charsky, I'm here. I can see you here. Books and knitting. I love you. That's me. Hello, Jane Catherine. So Jane Catherine has a beautiful podcast, which I encourage everybody to go and watch. That's Jayne Catherine, Jane Catherine on books. And you can knit in bed and watch me, Catherine. Absolutely. It is a tank top. Yes. Thank you very much about the cat. Oh, she did her first craft video as well. So go and have a look at her. Hello, Sharon. Thank you very much. Hugo T Jr. I love it. I love you. That's more important. Louise O'Connor. Lovely. Glad to see you've come, Louise. Coming around for a cuppa and a chat. Curly Noodle. Curly Noodle. Or Sharon, as we know her, is here as well. Elizabeth Nudd. N-U-D. Enjoyed it so much. Could you please tell us about the ripple blanket behind you and tell us how you did the edging? I'm a beginning crocheter. Of course, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Nudd. So this, I had somebody else mention this. So I'm glad you did. Thank you. This is a pattern by Attic24. So that's Lucy of Attic24. It's a blog, very well-known blog, very huge amount of followers. And this is her coast blanket. So I did the single bed size, which is approximately 300 stitches wide. Okay. It is crocheted in it's all triples. Yeah, it's all triples, and you knit you crochet two together, and then you increase and decrease to get the ripple effect, and it's her neat ripple pattern. All of this is free on her website, and her website is attic24.typepad.com. But if you look up crochet Attic24, you will find her blog. And this is a free pattern on her blog. But if you get the yarn packs from Wool Warehouse, you get the pattern printed out and set out for you as well. So it is there on her blog, but you can also get a printed pattern. And what the pattern does is it tells you the colours to create the coast blanket. So this is all designed by Lucy. And it was inspired by her summer holidays. She goes back to Dorset, which is where her parents, so she lives in Yorkshire, in Skipton in Yorkshire, and she goes back to Dorset to where her parents, they don't live together, unfortunately her mum's died now, but she goes back there every summer with her family. And this is the colours that she associates with the sea, with the coast. So we have the shingle and we have all the colours of the sea, and it's absolutely lovely. So this is my first Lucy Attic24 blanket I've ever done. The edging, what's the best way to show you? Oh, it's made out of Stylecraft DK, Stylecraft Special DK, which is 100% acrylic. Very, very hard wearing, very good for blankets. It softens up a treat when you use it. In fact, I've got some balls of it here. Let me show you. Because I brought down another blanket I'm doing, which is a Lucy pattern. And this is what they come in. They come in big balls like this, 100-gram balls, like for £1.80. I don't know what that is in other currencies. So they're really reasonable. You get 100 grams, you get a lovely big ball. They do feel soft, and I find them really comfortable to use, whether if you like acrylic or not. I find them really comfortable to use. And they come in such an array of colours as well. It's very good value. And it makes it affordable to make one of these blankets. If you were to do it in an indie dyer's yarn, oh, it'd be expensive. It'd be expensive. But this does make it affordable, and such a lovely project. So yes, it uses about 15 balls. So at £1.80 a ball. So it's still £30. Still £30 in anybody's money. Still quite a lot of cash. So the edging. Can I show you the edging? Here we go. So with the edging, you pick up, she tells you, you pick up one stitch, and then you do 2 in 1 stitch. So these are trebles in English terms. So there are US terms and English terms for crochet. I've only ever done English terms, and I'm not confident enough to tell you the American terms. I think this might be a half treble, but I don't know. But that stitch there is a treble. And what you do is you pick up in the spaces along the side, you could do 2 trebles per stitch. Yeah, does that make sense? So that you can see there are 2 stitches going into 1 treble, 2 going into 1. Yeah, so you do 2 together on each one, and then you do a line of double crochet. You do 2 double crochets, I think. But it is in the pattern. If you look at Lucy's website, which as I say is Attic24, she does show how to do edgings in all of her blanket patterns, and she's got some really nice edgings, and she's got very clear instructions with photographs, so it'd be far better to go there, but I'll show you. And that's the corner, you go around like that. So it's picking up stitches. To make it straight along the edge, you have to do a line where you do almost the reverse of what you've done to straighten it off. Was that yeah, no, that's that. And it doesn't fully straighten it, but it virtually does. But yeah, so I suggest going to Attic24, and she will show you how to do it better than mine, but that's my edging. I think what's nice about it, excuse me, itchy nose, fiddling around with wool, it's the different colours. I think as soon as you start doing different colours, it kind of evens it. So that colour is the kind of almost a neutrally colour, and that straightens the edging. And then you add that slightly brighter colour above it, and it kind of, the eye is deceived and thinks, oh yes, it's perfectly straight. I never blocked this. I have never blocked this. I think I washed it once, and I literally washed it in the washing machine. That's the best thing about acrylic, isn't it? Shove it in the washing machine and then hung it out to dry. And it's very forgiving. I mean, it's just so forgiving. So yeah, so I've actually done another one of my own. I did black with different colours, but that's upstairs. I don't know where that is. The husband was using that. So yeah, so that's that. It's a lovely, and it's a lovely blanket. It's very comforting. This is the other blanket I'm doing at the moment. This is her meadow colours. I have added some more rows on it actually. Which is it? Which way around it is? Yeah. So yeah. There it is. Can you see me? Yeah, so I'm getting quite a good length on that. I showed it on the yarn chats before Christmas, and I said it was giving me problems with my thumb, making my thumb hurt. And somebody said, have you thought of using different hooks? So with crochet, have I got a hook in here? Yeah. So knitting, you use knitting needles in whichever form. thought that was a lady coming to my house, but it wasn't. And with crochet, you use a hook. So that's the difference between knitting and it does make a different type of fabric. You're creating a fabric when you either knit together, you knit wool together, yarn together, or if you crochet it, it's all about creating a different kind of fabric. And so with crochet you use a hook, and this is the hook I use. I use a metal as a pony. And the thing about crochet is, I'm just going to say this for people that, just in case there are people that don't know anything about crochet, is with crochet you only have one stitch, and the vast majority of crochet, you can do crochet with multiple stitches, but with the vast majority of crochet you only have one stitch. So it's a lot more forgiving. The thing about knitting is you have got multiple stitches majority of the time. Again, this is on average. You've got multiple stitches that are live, and what I mean by live is if they pulled, they could unravel the fabric. They would pull down. So if I was to take a needle out and then pull, it would all unravel very easily. Whereas with this, it's only one stitch, and so you're far less likely to drop stitches or have problems with it, because you can literally, this is how I finish when I winding up and I stop a crochet project. I literally just do that, and it's unlikely it's going to pull out because it's so big. That's my live stitch. So that's whether or not that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I've always done. Just literally pulled out a stitch, and I've got this enormous stitch here, and it's basically stopping this from unravelling. So it's easier to manage. It's an easier stitch thing to manage. And it's just crochet is about tensioning on one hand, and then it's normally a wrist action. That's the way I crochet anyway. So yes, I think a lot of people who don't get along with knitting might find they can get along with crochet because it's easier in some respects, because you're not having to worry about the dropping of the stitches and dropping of the yarn, and yarn management's a lot easier. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, so somebody said to me, why don't I try an ergonomic, there we go, handle, which is shaped differently, so it should take the pressure off my thumb. And I've got one upstairs, and you're absolutely right. And it did make me think, yes, I must do that. I haven't done it, but I will do it. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. I think this blanket's going to take 18 balls of Stylecraft Special DK. Here we are. I've got a ball with its ball band still on. So they come like this. Special by Stylecraft, double knit. So you can see that the yarn is thicker than the merino the fingering that I am knitting the sock in. You can see the difference. That's why that's double knit. So there we go. So that's what they come to. That's that. Put that in there. So yes, that's what that is. Elizabeth, I hope that helps. I do recommend looking, Elizabeth, on Lucy's website. There's some great tips. She's such a phenomenal teacher as well as passionate crocheter. So hopefully that will help. Right, let's have a look. Beverly, I've never had a knit group. You have now? Oh, yes, thank you. I know I'm going to try. Oh, Beverly's brought the cookies. Don't mind, shop bought. Hello, Amanda. Lovely to see you. Hello, Connie. She was knitting a pair of socks last week. I hope you're doing well. Let us know how far you've got with them, please, Connie. Tuana Callahan. Sounds fun, but I don't know how to knit. That doesn't matter. Just do you. Whatever you're going to do. Crocheting, lolling on the sofa, any of that's fine. What a refreshing. Lovely to listen to you chatting. And you, Sally. Looking forward to seeing you again. Hello, Amanda. Oh, my darling, you don't need to worry about basic level of knitting. It's just a question of doing anything. Oh, cross stitch. Yes, Let's talk cross stitch. She's going to do. She's got more skills at cross stitch. Hello, Lynn. Mug, piece of cake, and my knitting. Gorgeous. Hello, Margaret. Lovely to knit with you too, and Kathy. Lisa. She's come over from Friday Reads, which is lovely. If you haven't seen that, I do a weekly video on a Friday. I talk about the books that I've read or not read, as the case may be. Hello, Sylvie. It's lovely spending time with you, and you've got snow. I heard about the polar vortex and all the snow that's happening in Canada and America. Lordy. Hello, she's from Ottawa in Canada. Oh my word. Well, let's not talk about... Have you seen the popular sweaters on Ravelry? So many people are knitting oversized sweaters. Yes, I have seen those. And the turtle dove. Yes, I've looked at the turtle dove pattern from Espace Tricot. Yes, I did think about having it big. But I think if I was going to knit, see, the thing is, it's knit on fingering weight. I think if I was going to do a bigger pattern, I would use worsted. I'd use a thicker yarn, so I'd use worsted or Aran. I actually don't have any big quantity of either of those. I tend to use a lighter yarn. Am I on Ravelry? I am, but there's boggle there, to be honest. I haven't really used it. I've only ever used it to go and get a pattern. I need to kind of get my head in. I am MeldrethLouise on Ravelry, so I will leave my Ravelry name in the description box of this. I need to get that sorted. I need to do that. I could make a sock yarn blanket with lots of lovely balls of yarn. This is Jen, and she likes this. How about a granny square cushion cover for your minis? I did think that. I did wonder about doing granny squares with each of mine. And then I saw on... I can't remember if it was Betsy Makes or Sandra of Cherry Heart. They've got hexagons. They've got she's got a free hexagon pattern. And I'm quite tempted to have a go at doing that because I quite like the idea of doing blocks of colour with all the lovely yarns. I'm thinking. Rainy Day Reads. Yes, polar vortex. No, Eastern United States. Oh. I will go back to the cardigan, the catagon. Hello, Perfume Girl. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Worked on her glue book. I don't know what a glue book is. Could you tell me what a glue book is? I honestly, I don't know what it is. Is it like scrapbooking where you combine pictures? Some of that's amazing. Some of that is so artistic that people I've seen do it. I just think it's phenomenal. Hello, Teresa. She had hot chocolate. Yes, there is hot chocolate in there if anybody wants hot chocolate. I worked on a crocheted lap robe. Hello. That sounds nice. My knitting crochet group is making these for a nursing home, needing them for their residents. Oh, how lovely. How lovely. How lovely is that? Samantha is working on a scarf that she's crocheting. Lovely. Like to see pictures of that, please. That would be great. Another friend from Canada, MC, had supper. No, you're absolutely fine. As long as it isn't too smelly. Sue, you're always welcome into my home. Yes, you are definitely continuing membership. Jackie Subkai. Subkai. Subki. Subkai. It's a lovely name. Jackie from the UAE. How fantastic is that? From the United Arab Emirates. You are very welcome, Jackie. Yes, I am more at home like this. Oh, she is doing the mecha shawl, which I did. And she's halfway through her 4th colour stripe. Still a way to go, but I'm considering adding another stripe. Yes, to make sure that it fits. Oh, I completely agree, Jackie. I wished I had. If you haven't done it, then please do it. Yes, add another stripe to the mecha shawl. I think you'll have a great time. She's going to do biscuits. Could you bring biscuits next week and tell me what kind of biscuits you're going to bring? Your favourites would be lovely. Hello, Sheetha. S-H-E, Sheetha? Sheetha? It's a nice name. Don't know how to pronounce it. Yes, nice knit group. She's knitting her first sweater with Tina from Simply in Stitches, who is an amazing teacher. She says here she's an amazing teacher. You're not wrong. They're doing a jumper called Winter Wine. Aww. I switched and went down one needle size, but when I did the bust measurement, it took me to size large. I think I had to choose the medium size. Depends. Oh, it depends, doesn't it? This is the thing with, see, Louise above you asks a question as well. Question for next week. Gauge. I am a loose knitter, and to get gauge, I have to drop anything up to 2.5 millimetres. I'm not a confident knitter and concerned that the garment will come out wrong. Would you suggest bigger needles and a smaller size? People talk about doing the maths. Can you explain this? Yes, I can explain it. Not brilliantly, but I can explain it. In fact, when I saw your comment, Louise, I did think about knitting a couple of swatches and showing you the difference. In fact, we might do that for next week. I will come back to you, Louise, on that. So the thing about it is, when a designer, when they put it out, they tell you the needle size and what they used. Oh, what's happened to my hair? They tell you the needle size and what they used to create the fabric that they've designed the pattern. So we all tend to think about needles, but it's all about what we're doing is creating fabric. I don't know how to show this. So the combination of the hook size and the yarn created this fabric, how it looks, how gappy it is, or how tight it is. So I think it's definitely you're going to have to swatch to see what you want, because it's very much depending on the kind of yarn that you're using. Bigger needles will I think change your needles first and see if you can get gauge, and then you can go along with the size that the pattern gives you. That's what I would do. So I'm not sure this is going to be helpful. I hope it's going to be helpful, Louise. Yes. What I'll do next week is I'll do some swatches and do one piece of wool. I'll use wool or merino, some yarn, and I will do different needle sizes so you can see how it changes, and then we can talk about what gauge is. I would always change my needle size first and then work out where I am. That's the best thing. As Sheetha says, Tina from Simply in Stitches is brilliant at talking about jumpers, and she's actually left me a comment, Tina, saying, here we are, Simply in Stitches. A suggestion for choosing which size on a pattern: measure something you wear that is the right size, and then choose the finished garment size, not your body size. I hope that makes sense. It does completely, and you're utterly right. And as soon as you said that, I thought, oh, that's what I need to do. So it's funny enough, it's right by your comment. So this is one of those comments that I think is going to have to rumble on in our group. And if anybody else has any information for either me or Louise, we'll have a look about working it together, and also follow what Tina says as well. So yes, I am going to have to move on because I'm getting quite late. So Bernie Mon, watching while sewing in the ends of a signal hat from Pom Pom magazine. Well done you. I've got 2 editions of the Pom Pom magazine and I haven't written anything yet. How about making a cat sweater into a poncho? It looks like a poncho. It did look like a poncho. But, do you know, I haven't got the figure for a poncho. I mean, a poncho, anybody's got the figure for the poncho, but it depends on whether you like the look of yourself in a poncho. And I'm all bust, so I end up, it's not good. It's not a look that I look at myself in the mirror and go, I look at myself in the mirror and go, I did, honestly, when I tried it on, I just was like, no. Marina, hello, she doesn't live too far. Hello, she was letting a Magnus Mouse from the Arnie Carnus fame for her granddaughter. How lovely is that? Hello, Marina. She doesn't live that far away. Tara, I absolutely adored this. I'm not a knitter. That doesn't matter. Bring your bullet journal. Oh, bullet journaling. Now that's another rabbit hole that I've kind of dipped my toe, looked down the rabbit hole like that. I went, no. I've got so many other holes that I go down. I'm like, That looks quite fun. Hello, Amy. Yes, you are part of it, Carol. Hello, Carol. She knitted on her second sleeve of her alpine tweed. Now, that sounds interesting. Pictures, please. Thank you, Carol from Newfoundland. Shape. Sam, who brought the lemon drizzle cake. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum. SF and EG. Love the knitting group chat, as I've just started knitting as an adult. Explaining terms. Yes, I am going to explain terms because I can't bear it when I watch things. I go, I don't know what that means. Hello, Leslie. Lovely to see you, Leslie. Very pleased you are here. Miss Moody Two Shoes. Oh, that's just the best. Yes, I did almost burst into tears with the Sinister cardigan, but I got it. I'm fine about it. I know I will go back to it. I will go back to it. And you can all join me on the journey. That'll be nice for you. Saminar 1990 or 1990. It's knitting a baby hat. Lovely. Oh, they're lovely baby hats as well. That's a nice thing. She's crocheting as well. Chesberries from Australia. Was it nice and sunny with you? I hope it is. Hello, Barbara. She's sat here knitting with a cup of tea while the snowstorm blows outside. Oh, I'm glad you're inside warm. Anne Bob McCulloch. New video. Thank you very much. I do have a question about BookTube. So I do BookTube on a Friday in Friday Reads. But she's asked a question, so I should say here. Are there certain criteria you should cover, such as monthly wrap-ups and TBR lists? Yes, there are. So when you first start BookTube, when you first watch BookTube, you notice that people do monthly wrap-ups. So that's the books that they have read in a month, because a month's quite a nice way of framing it. And that's what I used to do to begin with. So it's monthly wrap-ups. TBRs, as in to be reads. So that's either if you're joining some kind of group or some kind of suggestion what you're going to read or what you've got planned to read for the next month. So it might be books, new books that have come in, or it might be books from your shelves, from your TBR pile, so your to be read pile. So TBR lists, and then favourites. So as you're going along, so you do your first favourite of the favourites for the first half of the year, favourites for the second half of the year, books that you've DNF'd, that's a very popular one. Do your top 10s, so it might be your top 10 favourite books, top 10 most disappointing reads. So those are the kind of standard ones. To begin with is wrap-ups. And book hauls, so it's the books that you've bought recently, whether you choose to do it monthly or every couple of months, depending on how often you buy books. Or if you don't want to buy books, and there's no reason why anybody should feel that they have to go out and buy a lot of books. It's like with knitting. The problem is when you start doing these, when you start watching these things, you get exposed to so much, don't you, that's brand new. And you think, oh, I want to buy, and there is that kind of, I want to buy what everybody else is buying. I know that feeling so much. That very much happened to me when I first started in BookTube, but it also happened to me when I first started working in bookshops, and I saw the kind of bounty that was out there. I just wanted to read everything and buy everything and have everything. I must admit, I'm not there now. I kind of got that out of my system a little bit. But when you first start, you tend to buy an awful lot, but you don't need to. Especially if you're from the UK, you should have a library near you, a lending library. Also for audiobooks, you can get a library for audiobooks as well. So my local library does have audiobooks that I can borrow. So you could do library hauls. So books that you've gone and got from the library, whether or not you read them all, or books that you want to read from the library, or something like that. So those are the kind of standard BookTube videos that people start doing, and then they build up their repertoire. And then I think after a while you decide, actually I don't like wrap-ups, or I do like wrap-ups, or this doesn't fit me, and you start to get what videos you enjoy making. And I believe this goes with everything. As soon as you catch yourself enjoying it, as soon as your pleasure what's infectious about watching some people, I think, is the pleasure that they bring to it. That you can tell when somebody's lit up inside, or if somebody's, you know, stumbling through it. It's like, it's so lovely watching people talk about books that they love, because there's a passion that comes out of them, and when we see people that has that passion, it ignites something in us. I do think we respond to that energy. That's how I feel. I mean, that's how I feel. Whether or not you feel, it'd be interesting to know whether you feel the same. And Bob, whether you're thinking about starting doing booktube videos. Please tell us if you are, because then I'll come along and watch you. I'd love to watch and hear what you're reading as well. So yes, that's what I do think. I do think that's what I kind of lost my train of thought there and went off on a bit of a train of thought. Sorry about that. Sunny Beams, that's a nice name. I don't knit, but I do crochet. Well done you. I actually taught myself watching YouTube videos. I had been taught as a little girl how to crochet by my mum, who was left-handed and I'm right-handed, and she had the weirdest crochet action ever. So I learned in a very weird way, and then it was watching YouTube and reading Lucy from Attic 24 that got me back into crocheting as well. So completely agree with that. Probably make a granny square blanket. I do think I'm going to have a look at granny squares for my all my minis. I do think so. Elle Miller, hello, lovely to see you. Hello Doris, coming around for a chat. Yes, you are welcome every day, but especially for Tuesday Knit Group. Hello Sabrina, you are part of my it now. Oh, Debbie Harrison, will you wait till you get sucked into floss tube and people's cross stitch? I'm scared. I am. Her favourites are Priscilla and Cleese's and the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. Sue Gator Mom, you had me help myself to a hot drink and a biscuit and cake. Oh yes, cake's there. Shauna McKelly's there. Hello, lovely. Greeting from California. California, always has to be. The nuts for WDW. I don't know what that means. Melinda, there we go. Florence Thompson, you are very welcome. Love to see you here. And here's the top one, Rachel's Randomness. Hello to you too. So there we go. So those are all the comments that we had from last week's. If you would like to leave a comment and you're okay about me reading out, that would be lovely. So it just means that we can have a chat together. And it's, if you do have any questions, I'll try and answer them. But Louise, what I'm going to do, I think the gauge and the needle size and hook size is something we all struggle with. And as you know, I am still struggling with. So if I shall have a look at making some swatches, and then that will give us an idea about what to do. And we're going to have a look at that, see if we can work it out together. How's the best way of working it out? Especially if there are people that are only just starting knitting, then hopefully it will demystify some of the turns. As I say, Tina, as you've said, I don't remember who it was that said, but Tina from Simply in Stitches is doing knit a sweater with me, knit a jumper with me, and so does go into all that kind of information, and she is a marvellous woman in every way possible. So there we go, YouTube. I haven't knitted on my sock as much as I wanted to, but I have shown other stuff, and we talked about blanket, we talked about crochet as well, which has been lovely. And yes, please come and say hello to me on Instagram. That would be lovely. And so that I can actually get to see. I will start a hashtag Tuesday Knit Group, and then we can start to see each other's. You can see the other people's stuff that they are, whether it is knitting, it doesn't have to be knitting, as I say, knitting or crocheting or lolling about on the sofa in your pyjamas. Don't want anybody flashing me wearing less than. And there we go. There we go, YouTube. I'm going to put this away. I'm going to tidy up the kitchen after you've all gone. Might put some music on, do a little jig while I'm doing that. And I shall look forward to seeing you round here next Tuesday. This has been absolutely lovely, and I look forward to seeing you next week.